Question: what do $100,000 a year, a college degree, and the American dream all have in common? They're all completely worthless now, and nobody wants to tell you. Making six figures used to mean you'd made it. Now, it means you can almost afford rent in a city where your job actually exists. Here's the dirty secret the financial gurus won't say out loud. $100,000 a year doesn't make you rich anymore. In most major cities, it makes you middle class. And in places like San Francisco or New York, it makes you broke while paying $4,000 a month for a glorified shoebox with exposed pipes and a landlord who thinks fixing the heat is optional. And if you're watching this, chances are you already feel it. That quiet, gnawing suspicion that something is fundamentally broken. You did everything right. Got the degree. Landed the job. Hit the salary milestone your parents swore would change everything. But you're still stressed about money. Still can't afford a house. Still one emergency away from financial panic. You thought it was just you. That you were bad with money. Too soft. Too entitled. But what if the game was rigged from the start? What if the finish line has been moving backward faster than you can run forward? If you're tired of being lied to about what wealth actually means in 2025, you belong here. This isn't personal finance advice. This is economic warfare. And today, we're slaughtering the biggest sacred cow in the system, the lie that your salary equals your success. I've spent years studying how the financial system actually works, not the sanitized version they teach in business school, the real one. The one where central banks print money like confetti, housing turns into a speculative casino chip, and your purchasing power gets quietly assassinated while politicians smile and tell you everything is fine. And I'm obsessed with this specific lie. The $100,000 myth. Because it's the perfect trap. It sounds like so much money that questioning it makes you sound ungrateful, like you're whining from a place of privilege. But the math tells a different story. And every day you believe the lie is another day you play a game you cannot win. Let's start with a fun fact that'll make your blood boil. In 1980, the median home price in America was $64,000. Today, about $430,000. That's a 570% increase. Now, wages. In 1980, median household income was about $21,000. Today, it's around $75,000. That's a 260% increase. See the problem yet? Housing got expensive more than twice as fast as paychecks grew. And that's before we even talk about interest rates, property taxes, or maintenance. But here's where it gets truly beautiful. The government tells you inflation is under control. 2%, they say. Maybe 3% in a bad year. Completely manageable. Except they're measuring inflation with a rigged calculator. The Consumer Price Index is basically economic fan fiction. They don't count housing prices the way you think. Instead, they use owner's equivalent rent, which is just asking homeowners what they feel they could rent their house for. It's hypothetical, imaginary, a number pulled from vibes instead of reality. Meanwhile, you're paying real money for real rent that's jumped 40% in 5 years. But according to the official numbers, everything's fine, totally fine. That's like measuring weight loss by asking yourself if you feel thinner instead of stepping on a scale. And here's the kicker. When something gets too expensive, they just swap it out of the basket. Steak becomes chicken, chicken becomes ramen. You're not getting poorer, you're just eating worse, living smaller, driving older cars, delaying kids, giving up on home ownership. But inflation? Under control. So when your grandfather tells you he bought his house for $30,000 and you should just save more, he's not malicious. He genuinely doesn't understand that his $30,000 in 1975 would need to be over $200,000 today just to match the official numbers. Using real housing costs? More like $400,000. The game changed, the rules changed, the measuring stick changed. But somehow, we're all expected to play like nothing happened. And this is why six figures feels like failure. Because it is. So you finally break through. You land the job. 6 figures. The milestone your parents promised would fix everything. You tell your family at Thanksgiving. Faces light up. Pride everywhere. You've made it. Then April comes. The tax man shows up with a baseball bat and a smile. Federal taxes take 22 to 24%. State taxes grab another 5 to 10. Social Security and Medicare take 7.65. Your 100,000 quietly turns into 70. And you live in a city. Because that's where six-figure jobs actually exist. Rent for a decent one-bedroom? $2,500 to $3,500 a month? That's 30 to 42,000 a year, more than half your take-home pay. Gone. Before you eat, before you live. Student loans, 4 to 600 a month. Car payment, insurance, gas, 6 to 8,000 a year. Health insurance premiums, 2 to 3,000. Groceries, 6 to 8,000 if you're eating like a monk. Utilities, phone, internet, 3,000. We're not even talking about dating, vacations, retirement, emergencies, or buying a house. After everything, you've got maybe 10 to 15,000 left for the year, about $1,000 a month, after making 100,000. Your grandparents raised families, bought houses, and saved for retirement on less, way less, but they had exponentially more purchasing power. This is the trap nobody talks about. Six figures looks rich on LinkedIn. But in reality, you're treading water in a pool filling with concrete. And the concrete is housing, debt, healthcare, childcare, and every cost that exploded while wages limped along. College costs 11 times more. Healthcare bills can bankrupt you for the same broken leg. Childcare costs a salary just so you can keep your job. Cars doubled in price. Rent multiplied by 7. Everything essential costs 5 to 10 times more. Your paycheck is worth maybe 3. You're losing every single day, and society still acts like you're rich. You make 100,000 and you're complaining? Yes, because 100,000 today buys what 35,000 bought 30 years ago. You're not rich. You're just expensive to maintain. And here's what they really don't want you to realize. This isn't a bug in the system. It's a feature. The system needs you running faster just to stay in place. Because that's how they keep you compliant. Your grandparents lived on one income. They had leverage. They could quit bad jobs, say no, walk away. You can't. Now it takes 2 incomes just to survive. Both parents working full-time just to cover the basics. You can't quit, can't take risks, can't start that business, can't move to cheaper cities because that's where your industry goes to die. You're trapped. And a trapped worker is a profitable worker. The 6-figure salary is just a nicer cage. Better bars, softer padding, maybe gold-plated, but still a cage. They convinced you that hitting 100,000 meant you won. Meanwhile, the real wealthy aren't measuring success in salaries. They measure it in assets, equity, ownership, things that compound while you sleep. They own. You rent. They invest. You consume. They build systems. You work inside them. 6 figures can still matter, but only if you stop spending like you're rich and start investing like you're still hungry. Because in this economy, you basically are. The poverty line didn't move up to 100,000 officially, but functionally, it did. Welcome to the new normal, where 6 figures is the new minimum wage, where the American dream costs millions, plus tax, plus inflation, plus whatever they print next. But hey, at least you can put 6 figures in your bio. Most people will watch this and go back to pretending everything is fine. If you do not want to be one of them, subscribe. If this video made you realize you're just a better paid hamster in a nicer cage, share it with someone who still thinks they're winning. I'm the Bitter Economist. See you in the next collapse.